David kicks the car door closed with his foot, his son's weight pulling him off balance. He is holding his phone to his ear with his free hand. "Tell him if he says a word about any of this," he says quietly so as not to wake the boy. "We'll sue him biblically until he thinks lawyers are falling out of the sky like frogs." At 56, David wears a hard layer of fat around his frame like a bulletproof vest. He has a strong chin and a good head of hair. In the 1990s, David built a name for himself running political campaigns, governors, senators, and one two-term president. But he retired in 2000 to run a lobbying firm on K Street. 2 years later, an aging billionaire approached him with the idea of starting a 24-hour news network. 13 years and $13 billion in corporate revenue later, David has a top-floor office with bomb-resistant glass and access to the corporate jet. He doesn't get to see the kids enough. David and Maggie both agree on this, though they fight about it regularly, which is to say, she raises the issue and he gets defensive, even though at heart he feels the same. But then, isn't that what marriage is? Two people fighting for land rights to the same 6 inches? Now, on the tarmac, a gust of wind blows up. David, still on the phone, glances over at Maggie and smiles, and the smile says, "I'm glad to be here with you." It says, "I love you." But it also says, "I know I'm in the middle of another work call and I need you to give me a break about it." It says, "What matters is that I'm here and that we're all together." It is a smile of apology, but there is also some steel in it. Maggie smiles back, but hers is more perfunctory, sadder. The truth is, she can no longer control whether she forgives him or not. They've been married less than 10 years. Maggie is 36, a former preschool teacher, the pretty one boys fantasize about before they even understand what that means, a breast fixation shared by toddler and teen. Miss Maggie, as they called her, was cheerful and loving. She came in early every morning at 6:30 to straighten up. She stayed late to write progress reports and work on her lesson plan. Miss Maggie was a 26-year-old girl from Piedmont, California who loved teaching. Loved it. She was the first adult any of these 3-year-olds had met who took them seriously, who listened to what they had to say and made them feel grown. Fate, if you would call it that, brought Maggie and David together in a ballroom at the Waldorf Astoria one Thursday night in early spring 2005. The ball was a black tie fundraiser for an educational fund. Maggie was there with a friend. David was on the board. She was the humble beauty in a floral dress with blue finger paint smeared on the small curve inside her right knee. He was the heavyweight charm shark in a 2-button suit. She wasn't the youngest woman at the party or even the prettiest, but she was the only one with chalk in her purse, the only one who could build a papier-mâché volcano, and owned a striped cat-in-the-hat stovepipe hat she would wear to work every year on Dr. Seuss's birthday. In other words, she was everything David had ever wanted in a wife. He excused himself and made his approach, smiling a cap-toothed smile. In retrospect, she never had a chance. 10 years later, they have 2 children and a townhouse on Gracie Square. Rachel, 9 years old, goes to Brearley with 100 other girls. Maggie, retired from teaching now, stays home with JJ, which makes her unusual among women of her station, the carefree housewives of workaholic millionaires. When she strolls her son to the park in the morning, Maggie is the only stay-at-home mother in the playground. All the other kids arrive in European-designed strollers pushed by island ladies on cell phones. Now, on the airport runway, Maggie feels a chill run through her and pulls her summer cardigan tighter. The tendrils of fog have become a slow, roiling surf, drafting with glacial patience across the tarmac. "Are you sure it's okay to fly in this?" she asks her husband's back. He has reached the top of the stairs where Emma Leitner, their flight attendant, wearing a trim blue skirt suit, greets him with a smile. "It'll be fine, Mom," says Rachel, 9, walking behind her mother. "It's not